take it back, try it one more time. It ain't hard to see, I've been on your mind. And I'd be lying if I say that you not on mine. Yeah, you need all of me, can barely give you time. I close my eyes and I see money. You close your eyes and you see me. I'd rather go out chasing comments. You rather run around chasing me. Don't know if I'm good for myself.
Welcome to another episode of On Campus with JB and Sciggy. Obviously, it's your boy JB. You know, back at another week, doing what we do. We keep the lineups rolling. But first, got to go to my boy. Gig, what's good with you this week, man?
What's good, everybody? Sorry for the technical difficulties last week, but I'm back, baby.
Man got his mic turned up. Hopefully, our guest today got his mic turned up. Fresh off, start playing in the spring league, a new league that we saw this year, trying to give guys an NFL opportunity. We have Chauncy Haney, a defensive end from North Greenwood University, a former teammate of mine. What's up, Chauncey? How you doing, man?
What's good, bro? What's good? Yes, sir. Happy to be on, man. Seeing what you've been doing. Just proud of you, bro.
Man, I appreciate that. You the one out there about to try and get a league check. We proud of you. Shoot. Good what you do. But anyway, we talked about you playing in like the spring league season and as a whole new league and everything. What was that experience like? Just kind of being out there, something that, you know, the NFL doesn't really have its own minor league system or anything like that, talent development system. So what was it like for you to get that opportunity after you missed the chance to get signed out of as an undrafted free agent last year due to the
COVID? Man, first of all, I was grateful. I was out working like 11 o'clock at night when my head coach, Ted Cottrell, he had called me at like 11 o'clock at night. So it probably was 9 o'clock where he was. And he said, you know what I'm saying, he spoke to me. He said, yo, this is Ted. And with all due respect, I was like, who is this? Right? Like, my agent had told me that I had that the spring league was going on, but he had told me this like I think I got a call on a Tuesday. He told me like the previous Friday. So I was like, you know, he said, we're trying to get you out here. I said, okay. I said, when does the season start? He said, the season start this week. We're trying to get you out here tomorrow. Oh. So at 10 o'clock at night, I text my agent, and then so by Thursday, I was out there in Houston. I was ready to go. And then so we had like a week of practice, kind of like before we started the 6-week season. And man, it was a great experience, man. A lot of coaches out there who's obviously, like I said, Ted, he's one of the innovators of the 3-4 defense. So a lot of coaches out there with a lot of knowledge to give to a lot of players and stuff. And there's a lot of great players that played, you know, in the spring league who had previous years in the NFL or some with the Canadian League. And I feel like it was a good like league for the simple fact that everybody there was hungry because they had a shot, they were in there, or they were this close away from it. You know, so I feel like everybody's skill set was right there. So where it was great competition week in and week out. And like if you watch the games, man, you could definitely tell like, hey, every game was just, I don't think there was many blowouts. And if there were blowouts, there were like fourth quarter blowouts when the game's over and other teams. But like throughout the first 2 to 3 quarters, man, every game was a nail biter.
Do you think that the NFL would like develop like a minor league, G League type of deal with all these leagues like the XFL and Spring League? You think they'll, you know, integrate that to the league? Man,
I like to hope so. But I think on the business side, it's a lot harder than a lot of the fans and even players realize. Like, it's hard to do so. I don't know much about the G League, but obviously, you know what I'm saying, that had to it took a while for that to come on. And then at the same time, I feel like it's on a lot of these leagues as well. It's not just the NFL. Like, they have to come with the right business model and business plan because a lot of the leagues want money as well, you know, or they want certain things. So, like I said, it's just a lot on the business side before it to come. I think it'll be a little bit before there's an actual solidified sponsored G League. But I do think the NFL, well, I know the NFL watches these games and watches all these leagues. And, like, you know, saying just going back and doing the research, you see people leaving from these leagues getting the opportunity. So I don't think there'll be like a sponsored NFL G League for a good little minute. But like I said, I do think these leagues are doing what they're supposed to do, which is getting people opportunity and getting them back in the league.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. I always found like those new leagues pretty interesting and stuff. What's the competition level like? Is it much different from college, or is it like at that NFL level? Kind of explain to the people what it's like actually playing in the league.
Okay. So, I mean, obviously, I've never been to the NFL, so I don't exactly know
Yeah.
100% what that level's like, 100%. I think I got a good feeling of it, though. Obviously,
Mhm.
there's still spatial differences. But the competition out there, like I said, man, you had on every team, you had people who played in the NFL, who you got people on the team that, played years, active roster, not just practice squad players. Now, these aren't people that just, what I'm saying, you have people who played, years, some people who started. You got people 6th, 7th year, just, COVID messed them up in free agency. It just didn't mess up, undrafted free agents that year. It messed up old free agents as well. So you had all mix of competition. Then you guys got guys who, like me, who happened last year in COVID, never had an opportunity. So, I mean, obviously with any league, you have some people who, probably aren't the best, but that's what that opportunity is for, to show and or prove if you are, capable to play at these levels. So, I mean, I feel like it's not exactly right up to NFL standards, NFL level, but it's damn close to it.
Yeah, and you sound like a hella intelligent guy. Just wanted to point that out. But
Appreciate it.
What we do on this show, we like our athletes to give us a little background about themselves, talk about their life story. And obviously, like I said, you sound like an intelligent guy. Talk about what led you, a hell of an athlete, to go to a place like NGU. Like, what was your life leading up to that point?
Chauncey was a hoop.
Oh, no.
He was a basketball player, bro.
Mo
Yeah.
Alley Cobbs.
Yeah, I should have brought my state ring out here, man.
Right, he used to give people hell. Them little Christian kids hell at the intramural. They had like an intramural team with him, like some other football players on the team, like who were legit hoopers in high school. That joint wasn't even right. It was like watching Zion play little kids in high school.
Man, nah, man. I tried. But I mean, Bowman's right. So I mean, I grew up, traveling with, my military. So I played baseball. I never played football or basketball, like organized or anything, until 9th grade. Honestly, I moved around young, and then, I just wasn't in it. I don't know why. I couldn't tell you why. But freshman year, I went to a powerhouse school in South Carolina named Dutch Fork High School.
Oh, man.
I went there. I played freshman year or whatever. The next summer comes. My brother went to the powerhouse basketball school in South Carolina, W.J. Keenan High School, right? And I said, freshman summer, you know what? I'm a basketball player, not cut for. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a football player. So I transferred and I went to Keenan High School. I played, basketball, and then like middle of the senior, sophomore year. So Keenan's a very small school for those who don't know. So like some years, we struggle to get kids out there. So the coaches, they're recruiting heavily. I'm the 6'3", 6'4" kid at this point, sophomore. He's like, hey man, can you catch us? Yeah, I can catch you. He said, all right, you playing football. So you know what I'm saying? It belongs to me. Like I'm on the football team now. So I go out there, whatever. Play sophomore year, not too much. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I didn't play football too much. And then I went out there, you know what I'm saying, not knowing much of anything. And then junior year came, I'm on the offensive side, I'm on the defensive side, on special teams. I kind of have a good year, you know what I'm saying? I kind of explode. Not necessarily stats-wise, just from coming from lack of knowledge of football to knowing what to do on the football field.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And my stature helped me a little bit. So, I mean, I had a great junior year. And then senior year came, kind of the same thing. I didn't play offense as much just because my coaches see me more as a defensive player. Take it as what it was. So I played defense, but at the same time, like I said, my stats were never, too high. So some people would like to say that I was good, but I like to be honest with myself and say, hey, I was very, very raw, but I had, I had good size, and we aren't a football school. So it's not like we had 100 schools coming to check us out every day to see that I'm raw. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have too many schools coming to check me out. But, Greg Harris, he did come to the school one day. He met me. He saw me. He talked to me. He liked me, and then we were in communication. And then I did have one other school hit me up senior year, Lincoln University in PA. I went up there on a visit or whatnot. But like I said, me and Coach Greg, we were communicating a lot. And then our head coach, Jeff Farrington, and eventually after signing day, I think they gave me, said, hey, man, we got you an offer. Would you like come up here? And, I took a little minute just to see what was going to happen. And then at the end of the day, that was my only offer. So, I took my time to North Greenville. And like I said, I knew that I knew I wasn't this and that. I didn't have, you know what I'm saying, the high D1 dreams. You know what I'm saying? Everyone has them, but, you know, I had realistic expectations. I got to North Greenville, man. I just worked. I worked, you know what I'm saying? Bogan can attest to it, man. I just had my head down and I worked. Because at the end of the day, that's all I knew how to do. And then going through there, freshman year, got hurt. Played my first 2 games, got hurt then, tore my PCL, and then came back. Luckily and unluckily, we made it to the playoffs that year. So I ended up making my games back, so I didn't get a medical red shirt or anything, you know what I'm saying, which I was fine with. And I also didn't know much of it at the time. You know, I just knew some of the teammates wanted me back. The coaches wanted me back. And like I said, all I knew how to do was work. So I tried my hardest to get back. Then finished that year off, you know what I'm saying, mediocre at best. Sophomore year comes around. You know what I'm saying, I played the first game, played the second game. Second game comes, you know what I'm saying, we got this great freshman safety comes in, you know what I'm saying. After I make a tackle, he like torpedoes in, right? Knives at my neck. You know what I'm saying?
Forgot about that. Honestly, they got stretchered out. Oh my God.
No.
I forgot about that game. Bro, he got stretchered out. I thought bro was dead. Oh God, I thought he was.
They OD'd just a little bit, but
They did OD when you actually found out what an injury was. But like, bro, I thought he was paralyzed. Oh God, I was like, bro, what?
I mean, but they were just doing their precautions, man. So that happened. I'm in a neck brace for 4 to 5 weeks. I kind of felt like I felt like the neck brace gave me more injury than the injury I had initially. But you know what I'm saying? It was what it was. So I missed a good bit of games that year. Came back, like I said, coming back from neck injury, that you're gonna be a little timid after that. Like, so then came back and junior year came, man, and the first 2 years, everyone's telling me, hey man, you know what I'm saying, you're pretty good, man. Just keep working and it'll come together. You just gotta have confidence. And confidence is one thing that I always lacked a little bit. But junior year came and like I said, I kind of exploded. Not too much statistically, but you could just see on the field what's going on. Like when we played opposing teams, like they kind of knew, like, hey, where's 44? Let's watch out for 44. Like he's somewhere, you know what I'm saying? He's going to be around the play. You know, I always prided myself on running to the ball. So they knew I was going to be around the ball at some point. So it's best to run away. So, you know what I'm saying, I won't make the play. Yeah. So junior year happened, you know what I'm saying, my name's out there now and everything's going great. Go to the spring, going into the senior year, we start spring practice. We go through, you know what I'm saying, the first couple of days. First day of spring practice, I take off and I have turf toe. At this moment, I have turf toe. First day of spring practice, I have turf toe. Knowing, you know, some coaches telling me, hey, man, it's okay to take a couple of days off, take a break. You know what I'm saying? You're a senior, you kind of earned you know what I'm saying, your rest days, your vet days, you know what I'm saying? A little bit hard-headed, and also, you know what I'm saying, I just wanted to make sure I keep leading by example, so I didn't take any days off or whatever. So I played the whole spring with turf toe, and then comes to the end of the spring, they said, all right, cool, you've been playing, it hasn't been getting better, let's go get your x-ray, MRI. I go to the doctor on, I think, May 7th, 2019, and they told me I broke my toe. So now I just found out I was playing all spring on a broken toe going into my senior year. So I'm like, okay, so what now? The doctor says, hey, man, you got an option. We can put you in the boot for, I think he said, like 3 to 4 months and hope, you know, it gets better. And I'm like, it's my senior year. I don't want to leave too much things up to hope. So I go and have surgery May 10th. And it was my first surgery, like first major injury. So, I mean, it was, you know, I had to get through a few things, but then I stayed at school all summer anyway. And I just worked like every day. I was in a weight room, just doing upper body, rowing for conditioning, things like that, and still motivating my teammate because at the same time we want to go far this year, just like every other year we want to go far. So I'm motivating them, and I'm doing anything. I didn't do any running or anything during the summer. Like I said, I was just rehabbing my toe, getting back, and then first day of fall camp, I'm back, active, ready to go. And then that started my senior campaign. And, you know, as everyone knows, I had a hell of a senior campaign. You know, it just came with confidence, honestly. You know, people were telling me I could have done it, just lacked the confidence. And once I got it, you know what I'm saying, I exploded, got on NFL radar, things like that. Vaughn Hutchins, met him towards the end of the season around November, December. came to the school. He seen me. He has a cool story to tell about me. First time he seen me.
Wait, talk about how what it felt like when those NFL scouts started coming to our practices. I remember NFL scouts started coming to our practices, NFL teams, and Chauncey knows I'm into that space and everything like that. He goes, "Logan, you think I'm really that good?" I said, you got 1 sack last year. I said, you got to do a little bit more. And he was laughing about scouts being there, but I was like, no, you legit got the talent though. I said, that's the thing. I said, they gonna keep coming. I said, so you got to show them something every day come to Friday. Because Chauncey, I don't even think was believing it at that time fully yet. With scouts, what the heck are these people popping up for? Because they started coming to our practice. We're like, bro, who are they here for? Next thing you know, we're like, oh, they came for Chauncey. Because we've seen Chauncey play all these years. He's this huge specimen guy, but at North Greenville, we're never thinking anything about the NFL. It's next thing you know, I'm like, oh, dang, we do got a 6'4" DN over there. It looks like Tarzan or whatever. So we're like, oh, okay. And Chauncey goes off and has an incredible year at the end of the day when you think about it. All-American Conference Defensive Player of the Year. It was OD, man. I remember back there during games man, this is nice. Got to cover for about 2 seconds.
No, man, nah. But like Bogan said, man, I think everyone has a dream of going to NFL. But I gotta be honest, I had the dream, but that's what it was. I didn't realize we're not at a big D1 or even a mid-major D1, right? So it came to me, I think, in the sophomore year, junior year. In my head, I'm like, oh man, I'm 6'4", got long wingspan, big hands. I might have a shot at the NFL. I didn't. Realistically, I wasn't thinking of it, like you said. And then I think that spring, my head coach from high school called me and was like, hey, man, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. And he just hung up. I said, huh? And then I later texted him. He said, I got it was a background check from the NFL. So that's what they start doing. The NFL, I tell you, it's probably harder to get into. It's probably easier to get into the FBI than the NFL because they do their due they do their due diligence, man. But yeah, they started coming around fall camp and late summer. And just stopping and talking to me, man. It was I can't express how I was feeling because, like Boga said, it was they're here, but I don't think I really was understanding what they were here for. They were here for the NFL player, and like you said, at D2 level, man, we're not everybody. I wasn't really big on it or thinking I had that great opportunity until they started coming more and more. At some point, they were there every day. And I think probably majority of the teams, probably 25, 28 or 30 teams that eventually came. And I was like, oh, man, it means something. And then I honestly think that gave me a little boost of confidence as well to have the season I had, man. And like I said, it really helped when you have people like Bogan, giving you the confidence, help feeding, not in a bad way, but feeding the ego because they knew it was low. So it was we got to get this man. He got to have something with him.
Chauncey, no. Me and Chauncey would watch the one-on-ones. If I go watch the defense and one-on-ones, we'd be sitting at lunch. Next thing you know, I'd be like, bro, what is this? And I go walk over to Chauncey's table, wherever he's sitting at. Bro, Chauncey, what the hell is this, bro? I said, this is terrible. I said, I'm like, you got to win every single rep of one-on-one. You're supposed to be an NFL player. Even stuff like that, but being hard on them when it needs to be and giving them confidence. You could tell Chauncey was Chauncey's a guy who, like you say, he's intelligent. Chauncey had his whole life outside of football, figured out what he wanted to do. Criminal justice major. He was already figuring out what he was doing after school. Now these NFL scouts are popping up. I got to change my plans a little bit, bro. Just a little bit. Might be playing football long. Because I remember as juniors, we were thinking man, when this football shit's over, it's over. I'm not lifting no more weights, blah, blah, all this stuff. Because eventually you get to that point in your career, you're man, my body aching, it's hurting every day. It's man, when it's not, I don't got to feel like this no more. And then Chauncey had to keep the whole 360 in his head. I might be doing this for a little minute. It's it was really cool to see him grow during that time.
No, for sure.
So what did you have planned out for yourself? Because I'm a criminal justice major myself, and me, if I don't get to the league, I want to do eventually FBI work. But I mean, obviously, I got to do some stuff before I get to that point.
Yeah.
But just talk about what your life plans were before all this came towards you.
Honestly, once the NFL came around, I was like, well, I think I have my plan. I said, when I graduate, you can ask some of the boys. I'm gonna sign a contract. It's either gonna be to
Yeah.
the NFL or to the Air Force, and that was my plan, man. I was gonna go to the enlist in the Air Force, do military police, and you know, what I'm saying obviously, didn't that would have had to do what it had to do, but the NFL came around, and you know, what I'm saying I lied to myself. I ain't signed a contract, but due to COVID, you know, what I'm saying I knew it was like, so I gave myself room, like what I'm saying like COVID had definitely hurt a lot of things. So, but the Air Force was the initial plan. And then after that, eventually get into coaching, what I'm saying, what I'm kind of starting to do now. So I can still be in football, be ready for football, just get into coaching and that, public speaking, so I love to talk. So, I mean, just things like that was, that was going to be my field. And then school resource officer. That was my initial plan, to be a school resource officer and coach. Just because I think one of my mentors was that, what I'm saying, he was a school resource officer at Fort, and then he coached basketball as well. And then I had a school resource officer at Keenan. He coached softball, and then he just had, what I'm saying, he was in the military, retired Richland County, as well as active Richland County. Then he had the coaching, and I was just like, he can do a lot of things. Like he was doing a lot of stuff, and what I'm saying, he's still here. What I'm saying, still like in children's face. What I'm saying, talking to them, encouraging them, doing what I'm saying, doing good things with them. So that was my plan, man. But as we all know, plans change.
Oh yeah. And with you being a black man wanting to, go into the law enforcement, police work, stuff like that, I know you catch hell from your friends, bro, because I do, like, every day. But, like, this is way outside the topic of football. Like, me personally, I feel like the only way we're going to get change in that side of the world is if, we have more black men and black women getting into police work. But a lot of our counterparts feel like, we can't trust them at all. There should be no type of connection between the two. Just talk a little bit about how, like, not that you have to play both sides, but like you're in the middle of everything. Talk about how that feels.
So like, what I'm saying, exposure leads to expansion. If you don't see any of these police officers, what I'm saying, people of color, I don't want to just label the black people, but if you don't see these people, you're not going to know these people exist. You know what I'm saying? And man, I mean, it's, listen, you definitely have to see it to, what I'm saying, to believe it. And a lot of people, I feel like it comes with maturing a little bit as well. Because as all my friends got older, like half of them didn't know they were gonna be teachers. Some of them teaching, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like life hits you, and then you gotta realize you gotta do certain things. So it was good. I felt like they actually like not look up, but they like the fact that I knew what I wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? Because they didn't know they were gonna be teachers, not a teacher. At least you knew you wanted to be. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people want to affect the upcoming generations, and that's all it is, man. It's like you gotta. Most of the time, you're never going to see the change you do. Like, you know what I'm saying? Martin Luther King, he didn't see the change he did, but he did it and the change happened. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. Yeah. So, like, you can't really be selfish about that. You know what I'm saying? You have to just do it, and then, like, whatever happens, do your best. You know what I'm saying? And it has to happen. But, yeah, like I said, we definitely need more, you know what I'm saying, representation. I think that's what it comes down to. You need more representation. You need more people getting into the political offices. You need more people in power. You know what I'm saying? Just diversity. You got to diversify America, man. That's because for the longest thing, you know what I'm saying, who's been in power and who's in control. You know what I'm saying? Yep. It's, whoever has the power is in control. So you just got to diversify it, man.
I think we're on a good path. Like, I don't think our generation will see any major change, but, like, these younger kids, they don't give a damn, like, about, like, any hate. They just straight up, like, we're inclusive of everybody, with the rise of the LGBTQ community, rise of Black Lives Matter, the rise of all these other organizations. Like, this next generation really doesn't care. So I feel like our kids and our kids' will start to see that change. I don't think things will be perfect, but I think, like, that's where the majority of the change will happen, just because of how, like, the younger generation is today. But I feel like I'm excited to be a part of the police force or whatever.
That's what you have to be.
It's not like I want to arrest people,
Yeah.
I want to be. I've always been like a big community guy. like whatever I can do to help the community out, and that's a reason I always been interested in law enforcement. So I'm just excited to make a change, and I feel like that's what's gonna be next for America.
Yeah. That's how it starts. So it starts in, it starts small. You're not going to affect the world, but like you can change one community, one person at a time. Like it's a trickle effect, it's a snowball effect. Eventually, everything else, just like all the movements now, like it didn't start huge. It started here. Now this league's coming along. Now this league's coming along. You know what I'm saying? That's how it's supposed to be.
Jeez. And I think, like you said, we won't really see that change. But when we talk about progress, I think we saw a big thing in progress yesterday when it comes to the Carl Nassib news. The defensive end of the Las Vegas Raiders obviously comes out as openly gay. The first active NFL player to come out as gay. And it's funny because when it happened, everyone's like, oh, okay, cool. Whatever. Like, no one made a big deal about it. Like, you'll be hard pressed to find someone who had a true problem with it. When you look all over social media and everything, the outpour was supportive. Like when, Jason Collins came out years ago in the NBA, it was like breaking news all over ESPN and everything. Yeah, Carl Nassib comes out, and it's just like, all right, let's just drop this in as another little headline and keep it pushing. Like that's a form of progress. Like, nobody was trying to
like Michael Sam. It was like
huge,
completely different. Like what was that, like 5, 6, 7 years ago, something like that?
Yep, and then he had the draft party and everything. Like they showed him. I think it took a lot for ESPN to even show him kissing his boyfriend on national television.
Yeah.
Then they're probably like, oh my god, I guess we got to film it. We're in his house.
Yeah.
It's great to see. Like at the end of the day, wow, people are really coming around to it. Let's just love everybody for everything that they are. Like I can't be a black man saying Black Lives Matter, but then I don't support Asian people. I don't support the LGBTQ community when they're receiving hate at the end of the day. Like that's not fair. I can't ask for change for my community, but not want change theirs. Because at the end of the day, we're all trying to be on the same playing field. We all want the same opportunity. We all want the right to live a life where we can find joy in things that are joyful to us. Like we shouldn't have to find joy in what other people feel as normal, or other people see as okay. Like I shouldn't have to look for your validation and things.
Yeah. And just like you said, even as Christian men, that's like our job. I don't know what your faith is, Chauncey, but like I know that Jeremiah, Christian man. I assume so since you went to NTU, but correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, you can.
No, but,
like as Christian men, like we are called to, love everybody. This is just our job, and I don't understand how like these people in the South, they claim to love God, they claim to be Christian, but yet they're racist and hateful of the LGBTQ community. It's just
that's because all sin is not equal in the South side. In the Bible, but at the end, everybody's like, oh, this sin is this different, this sin is different, that sin. It's just like, dude, it is. Yeah, and at the end of the day, I think we're not just tolerating people
that's
being.
What it is.
We're not just tolerating anymore, because when you tolerate something, you're acknowledging that it's bad, but I'll put up with it. Like no, we're accepting people now. We're including people now. Like we're truly accepting people like everything they are, whether you're gay, straight. It does not matter, and I think that's kind of the biggest thing. Because like even as a kid, I know you guys sit back and think about, dang, think about all the homosexual jokes we made in the locker room as like middle schoolers, high schoolers, and maybe even a little bit in college. You're like, wow, I was really insensitive. That's really
very insensitive, man. It's
crazy to see how much I've grown now, because I'm like, oh, I understand why guys will never come out as gay in the locker room, because like that's a lot, especially with the way guys act just about showering and different things about guys wearing towels. Some guys go in the bathroom just to change in the locker room, like don't change in front of each other, just stuff like that. It's like, man, why are you talking to me with your towel on? Just little things like that. And the funny thing is, like, if there was a gay person in the locker room, I'm gonna need some of y'all to humble yourselves. Like, you're probably not even his type. Like, he probably don't want you, bro. Like,
don't even want you, man.
And the day you sit here worried about dude trying to grab your ass or something, like, it's not that literal, bro. Like, they have a life. People have a life, man. Like, they're not worried about you. And at the end of the day, there's a gay guy in the locker room, 90% of the time, he probably doesn't like you in there because he's around them all that.
Every day, he know how y'all is.
Yeah, he know exactly how you are. Like, there's no filter conversation in the locker room. It's like, oh yeah, I would never be with any of y'all. It's like it's just funny to see. Like, I want to see how NFL players the guys on this team back them more so than anything.
Yeah,
Like, we saw guys from other teams come out and say stuff. And I'm sure there are guys in the locker room that are probably like making low rumblings about being uncomfortable. Well, you're a grown ass man. Be okay with it. We're all uncomfortable. We're all uncomfortable with something at the end of the day. You're going to be all right. I promise.
What you think about that, Chauncey? You think those NFL locker rooms going to start having a lot of more guys, coming out and stuff like that?
I mean, well, I think with that, I mean, that's a whole different spectrum. I think it has to do with their comfortability, those individuals' comfortability. And like Bogan said, like most people when they come out, you know what I'm saying? Like at that point in their life when they're ready to do that, they've come to the sense. So some people aren't going to like it. So at that point in their life, once that they make that step, they can care less what other people think. So it's always up to them. And obviously with the acceptance of him coming out, and then more will feel more comfortable to do so. But like he said, I mean, they can care less if, the locker room likes them or not. It affects them a little bit. And I think that's what happened with Michael Sam. I believe that's why he ended up getting cut, just because it was a locker room news was affecting the locker room and stuff like that. But at the same time, it comes with maturity, man, and seeing it, exposure. You know what I'm saying? Back then, a lot of those NFL players were never exposed to that. You know what I'm saying? LGBTQT. Now it's almost in our, it's in our face. You see it more often. So now, they have to, now they know, okay, this is not to say normal, but, I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with it, So it's I definitely feel like maybe more will come out or whatever, and locker rooms will be more accepting of it. Just once you become mature, once you have to realize you have to become mature in all aspects of the NFL, that's just another one of them.
And I saw a stat he posted yesterday that said an adult coming out decreases the chance of a child suicide by 40%, which is insane to think about, man. Anybody or with life helps the younger children. Crazy, man.
Well, think about it this way. We talked about, as Christian men, we're called to love. I think the best example of that is just what we've seen Dwayne Wade do.
Oh yeah,
with his daughter, who identifies as a girl, but was born a male. And you see so many people. Think about where Dwayne Wade's from. Dwayne Wade is from Chicago, bro. We're talking about the hood. You're probably talking about people that don't tolerate any homosexuality at all, more times than not. And you have to be this persona and everything. You have to be this tough guy. Dwayne Wade went out of his way to learn how to not just accept his child, but love his child through the whole process.
What?
And you see people throwing all kinds of hate at him, saying, you're not a Christian this, you're not a Christian that. But it's what's not Christian about him loving at all costs? No matter the circumstances. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, definitely.
That's the level I aspire to be at, man. Because I still struggle with loving everybody. I'm probably one of the most positive people you'll meet, but I still struggle. But Dwayne Wade is just insane, bro. I aspire to have his mental health, his mental stability, the way he deals with stuff, the way he doesn't really go back and forth with people about it. He just lives his life. That dude's legit though.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it definitely is, man.
I'm not about to go back and forth with you about something that I'm comfortable with. It's bothering you. It's not bothering me at the end of the day. I can tell you about love and spread positivity, but at the end of the day, I'm not about to argue about you with anything that, especially if you're coming at me from a hateful mentality. You're not coming here to try to understand. You're coming here to spew hate at the end of the day. You're not trying to have any sort of conversation or to understanding about what's going on in my life or anything like that. And I think that's one of the biggest steps we have to continue to take in society. And I thought we saw that in 2020 with everybody having to stay in the house. There was no sports. It's we have to talk about these issues now. This is what's on TV. So that's been huge, and it's been good to kind of see our society grow, even though you don't feel like it on a daily basis. But when you actually sit here and think about it, talking to you guys and said it like this, okay, we have come a better ways than what we were at this time last year.
Most
Oh yeah,
definitely.
for sure. But I want to rewind it back real quick, man, because I don't like how you just tried to bring up Dutch Fork in here like that. What's good with y'all, man? Why y'all would never play us? I went to a powerhouse too, you know. I went to South Point, and we tried to get y'all on the schedule for many years. But I mean, what's good with
Hey man,
that? I know
I
you
left.
ended up
I left.
retaining.
I
Yeah,
can't.
I
I
went.
can't. I left Dutch Fork. You know what I'm saying? I don't regret anything. Yes, they are a powerhouse, but you know what I'm saying? I'm here today because of decisions I made. So I don't regret anything. But
Yeah,
hey, man, you got to talk to Tom Knotts, man. Can't. I can't. I can't call anything on why you never play y'all. Can't call it. But no, you guys definitely a powerhouse. Got a lot of athletes out. You know what I'm saying? Out of South Point, man. That's one thing I think Dutch Fork is catching up on now. Just getting the athletes now to school. You know what I'm saying? They were winning, but now they're getting there. Now they're getting the Power Fives to come.
oh
I
yeah,
heard Nick
for
Saban
sure.
was there a few weeks ago,
Man, yeah,
honestly.
I wouldn't doubt it.
So it's ace. And I mean, they're doing it, man. Proud of them just because they're from the city, man. I support everybody and anything comes out of the city.
So you're originally from Columbia,
Yeah, so
born
I'm
and raised there.
yeah, so I was born here. I was raised here when I was here. But I traveled overseas with my dad and my stepmom. Lived in England for I think about 2 to 3 years. Then I lived in Spain for a year, all elementary. But yeah, so I lived there. Like I said, all elementary years though. But I still remember a good bit of everything. And then came back to Columbia when I was here. I lived with my biological mom. Grew up here. We grew up on the other side of Columbia, and then we kind of moved to Irmo, which is where Dutch Fork is at, and that's where I ended up going. And then, like I said, transferring back to Keenan. My brother graduated from Keenan. Well, my brother went to Keenan, and then so I was like, and I knew Coach Norris, which was the basketball coach. I said, like I said, basketball player. So then I went back to Dutch Fork, but we've been in this house now for a good bit, so.
That's what's up, dog. Yeah, man. South Carolina's got a lot of athletes on the come up, dog.
Ton of them. We've always had them. We just now we
Yeah,
just
we
got
just
the
ain't have
best.
the exposure, man.
Yeah, just didn't have the exposure. I'm glad we got it now, man. We got a ton of athletes, man.
Oh yeah, they started to realize.
Chauncey, I want to ask you about this. Skiing, like when we used to go on ski trips, bro. We used to travel like 8 hours, like eight
Yeah,
hours. Ridiculous. Like we leave on Thursday to get to a Saturday game, and me and Chauncey would be like one of the only two of the like 90 guys on the trip or 60 guys on the trip or whatever that you would catch on the buses reading a book at the end of the day. And like me and Chauncey would read books like the morning of the game. Like we'll be at breakfast reading the book or something like just in that spare time. Like and Chauncey's a guy you could always tell really took care of himself outside of football, just his mental state. Like what's the most important thing to you off the field as far as just keeping your mental health where it needs to be? I see you do yoga now too.
yeah. So it's like mind, body, and spirit. I don't really know. Like the most important thing outside of football is, like you said, it's really just my mental health, man. Gotta I don't think a lot of people understand what free agents go through, especially free agents. You know what I'm saying? Like good free agents and stuff like that. It's like you don't understand what they go through, but you're not the only one going through it. So it's not like you're by yourself. You can't throw a pity party. You gotta, you know what I'm saying? Buckle up and keep going. And like yoga and reading and just furthering your education outside of football definitely helps. And actually, my experience in Houston has done a lot for me because what you have in Houston was a lot of guys in, like, just everybody there was in my position. You know, they're free agents. You know, they're good enough to be on the team. Just opportunities didn't meet yet or whatever it happened. So everyone is good enough and everyone's in my position. And what I learned was, well, I already knew this, but I talked to a lot of older guys and they helped me, you know what I'm saying, get on the right track. But there's a lot of entrepreneurs in that, you know what I'm saying, football, a ton of them. I think just about everybody there, I think about 80% of people there, when they weren't playing football, they had some type of business. You know what I'm saying? Some people work, there's no shame in that. You know what I'm saying? But I think about 80% of the people there had some type of business, some type of family business, some type of podcast that they do, some type of real estate, trading. Like they did something, man, some type of field. And it taught me how to go about it, man. A lot of those guys started their life in the process of being a free agent while staying ready for football instead of putting their life on hold for football. they started their life. So
Yeah.
if football comes around, they're good. If football doesn't come around, they're still good. It's not like they have to play catch up because they didn't do anything. And that's what I'm starting to work on now, just being able to start a life, being ready for football. Like, don't take it for granted. Those guys are ready. Like, those guys, all of us got a call. Some people different times and went out there and played football without playing in a year. Like, some people were in camps last year. Some people did this and some people did that. But for the most part, everybody came out there and played a football season, a 6 to 7 week season without playing football in a year. Like, yeah, those guys are ready. Like, we're all ready, you know what I'm saying? So, but, you got to understand, man. You got to understand life and how it keeps going. It doesn't wait on nobody. So, I definitely like to take care of my mental health that way, and I love reading, you know what I'm saying, just furthering knowledge, just because at this point, I don't know 100% what I want to do, but the more knowledge I know, the more, you know what I'm saying, I'll have a chance to know what I want to do.
You don't be LeBron in them books, do you?
Huh?
I said, you don't be LeBron in them books, do you? You know how you just read the first page?
Nah,
That
nah, man. I read, but see, I like to pick books I know I'll read. Like, I don't read. I like to read people's stories, or I like to read, like, right now. I think I'm reading the book Money Explained, and once I got it, I realized it's kind of like a textbook, but it's money explained visually. So it's everything you got to know about money, but it's like they have it's visual, so they have like charts and graphs and pictures, stuff like that. I sound like a child saying picture book, but it's still like a real thick book. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm learning from it. It's not something, I don't just pick up regular books. You know what I'm saying? Or I read biographies, autobiographies, things like that, or like philosophy books. Those are the books I read. Also, you know what I'm saying? One, because I can learn from them without someone telling me exactly what I need to learn. Like, I get to kind of almost pick and choose. Like, they steered the book in a direction they wanted to be steered in, but I know I can get from it what I want to get from it instead of someone just telling me 1, 2, 3. You know what I'm saying? And then so I aspire to write my own book. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the process of it. So I aspire to keep doing that. So this is my practice. You know what I'm saying? You watch film, you get better at football. I'm reading autobiographies and biographies, I'll get better at writing. So, you know what I'm saying? So I think that helps me a lot as well.
Is that what's coming? A little biography about yourself, man?
Yeah, well, just a little memoir. You know what I'm saying? I talk to certain people, and I'm young. There's no point to rush a biography. But a memoir is definitely coming. I don't want to put a date on it. I don't want to do that. But it's definitely coming, and I'll go ahead and tell you what it's about. It's about my experiences at North Greenville. You know what I'm saying? Right now, it's the title of the book. No. Listen. But right now, the title is called Accidental Isolation. Because if anyone knows, North Greenville's in the middle of nowhere. But you know what I'm saying? A lot of us learned a lot from it. A lot of us matured as men. A lot of us did a lot of things. So I ain't going to say too much about it, but it'll be, you know what I'm saying? It'll be just about that 4 to 5 year process from graduating high school to graduating college.
Hold on. I want to talk about that for a second. North Greenville, bro, like, no, not even the football program. Football program was fine. But, like, the school itself is terrible. Like, all the people that...
I love my school.
But you're repping NGU football. You're not repping North Greenville University. It's a difference. But, because, like, you go there, it's a private Christian school, really small. A lot of the kids that are regular students there are, like, kids who were homeschooled their whole life. They kind of lack social skills. Like, some of them are a lot of them are afraid to talk to black people. Like, it was just such a weird experience for a lot of us who, we just wanted to come play college football, but we didn't think about the social aspect of what those people would be. I think Chauncey touched on a very good point. Like, we all became close to them. I mean, from the fact that we all were going through the same struggles together during the time. Like, we all were struggling with what life was like off the field. Like, we really felt like all we had most days was each other at the end of the day. And it's just like we kind of like a fall camp where your team gets closer because, like, you're just kind of laughing through the bullshit at the end of the day. Like, you're laughing through the pain that ends up making you closer. And we did grow a lot as being in North Greenville simply because, like, it forced us to learn how to adapt in a different world, how to communicate with those people who, even if they didn't want to communicate with us, which something we talked about in the last episode, we learned how to go outside of our own bubble. And I am appreciative of that aspect of North Greenville, even though it was the best place to be off the field. I did gain pleasures from it just from what we learned every single day and what we had to go through together.
Exactly, man. Bowman said it, man. It's everyone's different. You just have to learn to love each and every one as they come, and there are reasons why some people at that school don't. And there's like we're still in the South, man. You know what I'm saying? But like I say, everyone's different, man. You just got to respect it, learn from it, and you got to be you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you have to live your life. So what other people do, so I'm not saying it can't affect you because obviously other people can affect your life, but you got to push through it, man. And that's what all of us did. I think that's what brought a lot of us closer. But like I said, I just think North Greenville did a lot for me as a person, whether they did it directly or indirectly. Like if it was a school or certain people, you know what I'm saying? I still learned from the experiences I had in North Greenville, and I'm on like a lot of, everybody has their different opinions, but I'm thankful for it. Definitely thankful for it. Like I said, I'll always be indebted to them because of the football team, though. You know what I'm saying? But I also had to get accepted into the school. The school did a lot for me by accepting Chauncy Haney to attend their school.
Professors are good there. I give them that. Professors are exceptional.
I'm going to shout out Stacy Rollins. She was my advisor, my mentor. I talk to her all the time, man. Loved her, man. She did a lot for me as well. No. Honestly, she probably was one of my strictest.
I never even had her, bro. I just walk in her room, grab some candy, and pop out, bro. I never even knew. She was just cool like that.
Yeah, but trust me, she was one of our hardest teachers to take. But I mean, she was still outside of that, you know what I'm saying? She was just a wonderful person to talk to, man. She definitely did a lot for me, man. Got a lot of kind of like a counselor without a counselor title. So like I said, the Northern Greenville did a lot for me, especially if you use the people how they were supposed to be used. You know what I'm saying? They have their jobs, and a lot of people didn't use them for their jobs. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people just because those, you know what I'm saying, they did their jobs. So a lot of people didn't like how they did their jobs or the way they did their jobs. But at the end of the day, if you use them the way you're supposed to, they were an asset to you, and I believe that's what I did. So.
Yeah, we truly had to learn to make the best out of everything. Like when we say there's nothing to do in Tigerville, South Carolina, which is where North Greenville is, there's nothing to do but play football. Bro, there's nothing to do but play football.
Not at all.
Chauncey with that Hogan was nowhere to be found off the field unless it was in the library or in the caf. Only place
he was in his room, man. I mean, because it's not even like there's a common place to hang out, but there's not even a common place to hang out. Like everybody either at the locker room or in their own room, man. It's tough out there.
It's different, man. It's different. I definitely tell you that.
That's how it was when I was at State. Like Orangeburg ain't got nothing, dog. You got some good wings though, but
y'all didn't have a bunch of like rules, like bro, like
so you had freedom.
Girls have to walk on this side of the street, or if the only time girls could go into the guys' dorms or vice versa was on like what was it, Valentine's Day, where you had to sit on the bed and your feet couldn't touch the floor all the time, or something like that. Something like you had to leave the door open, bro. It was wild. Like, what is this?
I don't even think it was Valentine's. It was Halloween. That was the only time. And they couldn't come to our dorms. We had to go to their dorms.
Yeah, it's like you leave the door open and then chaperone or whatever just walk back and forth down the hallway like they the feds, bro. Like, bro, that joke was crazy. Bro. I can't believe I was really there though. Like wow, that joke was really OD. Like they took Christianity to a whole nother level, bro. Like, look, man, if kids want to do something, they can find a way, bro. But,
they were. I mean, they was going.
Boy, they put the shackles on us, boy. But hey, the white people had them too, though. So it was all.
Yeah, everybody had them, but
bro, that joke was different. But as we kind of get here to the close, Chauncey, we know you're open for an NFL shot, man. You got NFL training camp coming up at the end of July. You just had a really good spring league season. Where do you see the next part of your journey going after this?
I wish I knew, man. But like I said, you definitely have the CFL coming up. I think last Monday they announced that they are having a season. So you definitely have their camps coming up. Got my passport ready. And then so you have that. Just in case they're listening, man, I got my passport ready. But then obviously the OTAs are ending now, I believe. Or some of them have more to go. You know what I'm saying? Sending film out, communicating to the people I have in contact. Like you said, your guy, the Draft Bible. You know what I'm saying? He's doing me some help. Hopefully I get one of those. If not, I know next year the XFL is coming, and I don't think the USFL announced the date yet, but I'm pretty sure they'll be playing next year. So that's a year from now. We'll see what I'll be doing a year from now. Like I said, I'll stay ready regardless. I'm still young anyway, so I like working out. So I'll be ready regardless for the next 5 years. But like I said, we'll see where I'm at in a year. And like I said, hopefully I get a call soon, man, and show somebody what I can do.
Go ahead, Skig.
Saying that's what's up, dog. Yeah.
I definitely think you'll be playing somewhere. First of all, the XFL. So XFL, you get the XFL. That's gonna be lit. But I mean, that's a year away. I definitely think you're a guy who you can play in the NFL. Last year didn't happen with COVID and everything. You're one of those guys who got an undrafted free agent shot. So it's kind of weird to have you sit around for a year and not get a shot that you knew in a regular year you probably would have gotten. So you're definitely a friend of the show now. Like we tell all our guys, we're gonna support everything you do. You got highlights, you got cool pictures, we retweet them.
Yes, sir.
At the end of the day, we want you to know that we support you. I'm definitely proud of everything you've become to this point in your career. I can't wait to see where your journey leads you next. Like you said, guys over at Draft Bible are trying to help you out too. Rick Chatella, he's over the NFLPA game and everything. And he did really well there. You're one of the good players there about a year ago. So you can play at that level. It's just a matter of who's going to take that chance on you. And the NFL is always looking for cheap labor. They don't be wanting to pay dudes. So somebody go come knocking on your door while the price is low before you got to run it up on that second deal.
Hey, hopefully, man. Yes, sir.
But that wraps up another episode of On Canvas with JB and Ski. Skig, you already know what to do. And
we appreciate you coming on the show, man. Our motto here is peace and love. Everybody knows the deal. Appreciate it.
You and the drug got me inspired. I'm an addict and I feel like I'm in space. You did. She throw it back, she got the pillow in her face. And I'm smoking on exotic. You might think the blunt is lace. You did. I know this chick that do whatever for the kid. You did. Yeah.